Hi, I'm Carrie. Thanks for visiting my channel, and while you're here, I hope you'll subscribe and leave me a thumbs up and a comment with your opinions on this video. After removing plants in the greenhouse to put in the fountain, I did a major cleaning of all of the plants left on the shelving, and there were a few that were very neglected. How did they get that way? Well, they were kind of out of reach, they were hard to water, and they were needing to be in different pots. So how could I tell? Well, take a closer look. It's shriveled, dropping leaves, and even though the fuzziness helps to protect from sunburn, it's still a little burned and dehydrated. So on this beautiful cloudy morning, I'm out in my breakfast room and I'm going to perform surgery on this poor, pitiful looking tomentosa. It's seen better days. It has been neglected, underwatered, underfed, and needs to be in the ICU on life support. So don't you agree? This poor baby has lost most of its leaves and doesn't have many left. So I'm going to chop his head off in order to save its life. And if I find after chopping the head off that there's rot in the stem, I may try to propagate by leaf if I can find some good leaves for cuttings. But right now I'll cut off the top, let it dry a couple of days, and I'll come back while it's in recovery and I'll show you its new home. So I'm going to take a sharp knife and I'm going to leave enough stem and I'm going to leave nodes here. These were where leaves were before, and these are where the roots will come out. Also right here. But I'm going to leave enough stem so that when I plant it, it's got a good support. It really doesn't need a lot, but I just feel like I want to leave a pretty good stalk there for him to put its head on. And it's a little tougher to cut than I thought it would be. So the texture was almost woody, which I was a little surprised about. And now, these almost feel like thorns. Okay, so he is alive. You can see he has a good center, but he just keeps losing all of its bottom leaves. I don't see any kinds of insects on it. He just has been neglected. So let's give it a couple of days. We'll let this callus off, and then we'll come back and we'll plant it in its new home. Hey guys, it's been 3 days since I cut Tom's head off, and yes, I'm calling him Tom. It's a tomentosa, T-O-M, so I'll call him Tom because he seems masculine. So I'm left one leaf here that I'm not real sure about. It kind of looks like it's on its way out, and they will do that just as the leaves get older. But it has calloused very well. It's very dry. The rest of the leaves look very healthy, and we're ready to put it in the new pot. It is going to be the same pot. He's going to recover in the pot that he was in. I have put in new soil mix. I put hardware cloth in the bottom to cover up the hole, new soil mix, and this is Miracle-Gro Cactus and Orchid, I think is what it's called. And then I've already put crushed granite on top of it. I ran into the greenhouse, put everything in the pot, and I'm ready to put Tom in. So the reason I decided to use this pot again is the same reason that I chose the pot to begin with. This pot, the colors just go so well with the plant. Don't you think so? It almost looks gray, tan, brown on the edges. So anyway, I think it looks really nice. And remember, I left a longer stem so he would have a good place to sit, a good base. And what was laying close to me here was an ink pen. So I'm gonna use the ink pen to make a hole. And I'm gonna sit him down to where it's almost touching the leaves, but not touching. And everywhere that there was a leaf node, this will put on new roots. Now, isn't that pretty? It's a very nice pot for this tomentosa. If you have a plant that you think might be dying, one of the easiest ways to save it is to chop its head off. As long as the head looks good, chop its head off and repot it. Then that way you can check and see if there was something wrong with the roots, whether there was mealybugs, aphids, something had got a hold of the roots, maybe it had root rot. So this is a good way to save it. And then if there's something wrong with the stem up in the plant, say you find rot but you have some good leaves, take the leaves off, propagate them just by leaves. You don't have to go through the process of rooting the stem again. But I'm not going to water this. There are no roots for this plant to take up water. So I can mist the plant to give it some water that way, but for about 2 weeks, I'm not going to give it any water. And this plant will start to put on roots on its own. So thank you for watching today. I hope this has been helpful for you and that it's been interesting and that you got something out of it. So now I'll let him acclimate to its new home, and then I'll water him in well later on. I've moved all my succulents off the top shelves in the greenhouse. They were fine for the winter, but now that we're going into summer, some of them are just getting too much sun. So on the lower shelving, I can tuck them under the top shelf for a little shade, and right now the tomato plants are shading them through the morning. So the greenhouse is still a work in progress, and I'm still learning how to take care of my babies in this environment. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll come back for a visit, and I'll see you in the next video on garden rudiments.